Hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie and it's Wednesday, February 19th, 2014, 3 days before the UFC 170 Rousey versus McMann event. On today's show, we'll be giving our predictions for the main card in the UFC 170 Rousey versus McMann event, and if we have time, we'll talk about a couple of other MMA-related topics as well in the Final Thoughts segment. On today's show, we have yours truly, Wes, Damon, David, and Jacob. Thanks for taking part in another show, guys. I appreciate you all taking the time to be here and joining me to discuss the UFC 170 Rousey versus McMann event and to give your predictions for the main card. Go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, guys.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Not bad. How are you guys doing?
Thanks, Rich. How's everybody going?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show again. Pleasure as always.
Okay, guys. Thanks for being here. All right, this is round 5 of the second season of predictions that we've been doing. We'll recap how the crew's doing after 4 rounds of our fight predictions in just a minute. But first, here's how we scored the results of our predictions. Recapping the scoring system. If you pick the correct fighter but don't get the method or round correct, you earn 4 points. If you pick the correct fighter and method or the correct fighter and round, you earn 7 points. If you pick the correct fighter, round, and method, or correctly call the winner by decision, you earn 10 points. Here's how the guys did on the last prediction show that we did. Jacob went 5-0 with his picks. Wes, Alex, Damon, David, and Rich went 4-1 with their picks. And Murat went 3-2 with his picks. Here's how we placed in round 4. In first place, we had a tie. Wes and Alex both went 4-1 with 31 points out of 50. We had a tie for third between Damon, David, and Rich. They all went 4-1 with 28 points out of 50. In sixth place, we had Jacob. He went 5-0 with 26 points out of 50. And in seventh place, we had Murat, who went 3-2 with 24 points out of 50. Here's how things look after 4 rounds of predictions. In first place, Damon is now 17-8 with 119 points out of 250. In second place, Rich Davie is now 18-7 with 117 points out of 250. In third place, David Petrulik is now 16-9 with 110 points out of 250. In fourth place, Wes is now 16-9 with 106 points out of 250. In fifth place, Alex is now 10-8 with 76 points out of 180. In sixth place, Jacob is now 5-0 with 26 points out of 50. And in seventh place, Murat is now 3-2 with 24 points out of 50. Okay, guys, let's get started. UFC 170, Rousey versus McMann on Saturday, February 22nd, 2014 on pay-per-view. Fight number 1, of course, that we're going to be doing here is Ronda Rousey versus Sara McMann, which is for the women's bantamweight title. It is the number 1 fighter and the number 3 fighter that are ranked in the bantamweight division, and it is the Olympian versus Olympian event that most MMA fans have been waiting to see for a while. How do you guys see this one unfolding, and what is your prediction? Wes?
Rousey, armbar, round 3. Maybe competitive, maybe not.
I have it for Rousey with the armbar in round 2. I just think her judo is going to trump McMahon's wrestling.
Okay, David?
Rousey armbar in the second.
Okay, Jacob?
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works and go for a Rousey decision. I think Sara McMann's a very talented fighter, but I still think it's a bit too much too soon for her. Maybe with a couple more bouts under her belt, maybe she could give her a better challenge, but I do think Rousey will be forced to go the distance this time.
I was actually going back and forth on that myself. Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. Would it go to a decision or not? But here's my breakdown from looking at the numbers and things like that. This is one of those matchups where somebody's has got to go. Rousey is a heavy favorite by both odds makers and fans. Both women are nearly identical in physical stats. Rousey is 6 years younger, and that stat typically favors the younger fighter. McMann also has had an undisclosed break in fighting and hasn't had a fight in nearly a year. So all of those stats and numbers seem to be in favor of Ronda Rousey winning this one. I think this is going to be, another tough fight for Rousey, pretty much like the last one with Tate was. And I think it goes past the first round. I don't think we're going to be seeing the first round armbar as we usually do with her. But I think this one's going to take place mostly on the ground because we got the wrestler and the judo fighter. But I think Ronda Rousey will, in fact, win by submission yet again. So I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey by sub in 3. Okay, guys, you want to discuss that one a little bit before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, sooner or later, if someone's going to be able to stop the armbar, I don't think it's going to be Sara McMann, though. As you said, she's had a long layoff. We don't really know why. Not that necessarily is relevant, but,
Well, if it was an injury, it might be relevant, but we don't know. 11 months.
Right, exactly. It may or may not be relevant, but the point is that, especially when it comes to jiu-jitsu, if when you're dealing with somebody like Ronda Rousey, you really want to be on your game. And cage experience and ring rust are a real thing. They're not just these cliches that we throw out there. You can make the case that she's training every day and she's staying on point with her jiu-jitsu and her positioning and her submission defense and even submission attacks. But it's one thing to be doing it in training and another thing against a world champion like Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, have any of you guys heard anything about why Sara McMann was out for so long?
No.
Nope.
She had personal issues, I believe.
Yeah, that's what they said.
But it wasn't disguised, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder exactly what that was. I'm so curious to know exactly what would keep her out for that length of time.
It could be anything, It could be personal problems, stuff like that, And if it is a personal problem, I really don't care to know,
Yeah.
Well, it would be interesting to know if it was an injury.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know what it was all about, but since they're not disclosing it, it's probably a personal issue. So it's
you would think if it was an injury, there'd be no reason not to let us know.
Yeah.
David, do you have any comments on that?
I hadn't heard anything else other than the personal issue myself, but just with the match itself, I do see it taking place a lot on the ground, and Rousey, I think she's developed many different techniques to get to that armbar, so that's why I called in second.
Yeah,
when you got a grappling match like this, and you give Ronda Rousey 5 rounds, sooner or later she's going to grab an arm, I think.
Yeah, and we've only seen the armbar from her, but with her judo, I'm sure she's got more than just the armbar. That's just her go-to, and I mean, judo's a perfect counter for wrestling because you use momentum and everything to your advantage. I mean, I think she actually let the fight go on longer with Miesha Tate than she needed to, just to prove to people that she isn't one-trick pony, just showing people that she can strike, can do everything else, because most of her fights, end pretty damn quick. But,
I thought that's exactly what transpired in that fight as well. I thought she was looking to prove a point to try, to say, oh, I'm not a one-trick pony. I can go into the second and third round. And I don't know, man. Anybody else got any comments on this one? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we've seen her start to put together nice boxing combinations, throwing some straight punches, down the pipe. But I see a lot of this one transpiring on the floor.
Oh yeah, that. But I don't know.
I can't believe the hate that I'm seeing for Ronda Rousey out there. I don't know if you guys are seeing the hate for her.
Really? You can't believe it? She's like the biggest heel since Brock Lesnar, dude.
She
talks more trash than Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, but she backs it up. Yeah, John Jones the same way.
Doesn't mean you have to like her.
Yeah, I can't stand John Jones either, but I love watching him fight.
He doesn't talk trash like Ronda Rousey.
But it keeps coming back to everyone keeps talking about she's not the best. Cyborg is the best, but come on, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's a joke. I think that's a joke.
That.
Well, that's a fight we're probably never going to see, and who knows how that transpires.
I think there's more chance now that Tito has resigned as her manager, but I wouldn't like to see it just yet. I want to see Rousey clean out the division first.
Yeah, Cyborg's been busted for steroids, so I really don't care to see her.
And I would like to see if that fight is going to happen. I wouldn't want to see Cyborg come straight to the 135 division and get a matchup with Rousey right away. I think what she does need to do as she comes to the 135 division is actually have a fight or two to show that she can consistently make the weight and then move up and fight.
Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that you should never get an immediate title shot anyway, for the most part, sure she was the Strikeforce champ, but I mean, it was a different weight class, like you say, and also, I mean,
Hopefully, Rousey. She seems to be a smart girl or woman. Hopefully, she wins a couple more fights and actually leaves and goes for the movies, because I mean, she's already got deals, and there's a hell of a lot more money to be made there.
And residuals.
Yeah, and that would open up the division for the champ to switch hands a lot more easily than with her in it. I mean, everybody she's fought, she's disposed of so easily.
Yeah, she's just on another level. Women's MMA is just not. There's just not that many competitive fighters yet. And she's just, like I said, she's just on another level. She's just making fools out of them.
Oh God, she is.
There's a reason she's won every single fight by armbar.
We could talk forever on this, but we need to get on to the other fights.
Okay, fight number 2, the co-main event between Daniel Cormier and Patrick Cummings. Some hype surrounding this bout. Daniel Cormier versus Patrick Cummings. Very odd here. I don't even know why this fight is taking place. We've got a non-ranked light heavyweight fighter in Cormier, and then we've got a fighter ranked at number 139 in the light heavyweight division. So this is like a nonsensical fight. It really, I don't even see why it's happening. But how do you guys see this one going, and what is your prediction, Wes?
Well, it's pretty easy to see why it's happening. It's a short notice, guy who took the fight, right? I mean, it was either that or cancel the fight, which would have been a disaster on an already pretty lackluster card.
No, they had already canceled the fight, actually, and then this guy stepped up at the last minute.
Yeah, but still better better have a fight, I guess. It's for everyone involved, right? Daniel Cormier wants a paycheck. He's training.
Well, I don't know about that. Everyone's bitching.
I thought the UFC called Cummings and offered him the fight.
Well, regardless, you've got a matchup at the end of the day, and that's people can bitch all they want, but again, the UFC needs card space, and they need Daniel Cormier fighting. You know what I mean? He can't stay on the sideline forever.
Yeah. I understand why they're doing it, but I think more of it actually has to do with the crying incident thing or whatever. They're trying to.
Well, that's the hype. That's the hype, but the hype is all hype. Hype's all hype. I'm taking Cormier by stoppage in round 2.
What kind of stoppage?
Knockout.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked Cormier by round 2 TKO as well. We haven't seen him really do much of the knocking out in the UFC, but I think going down to light heavyweight and just him wanting to prove himself in light heavyweight, he's gonna come out looking for a quick win.
Okay, David.
Yeah, TKO in 1. I thought 2, but I want to be the different one. I think he will just come out and wreck him.
Okay, Jacob?
Yeah, Emilio Negro, round 1 KO. I don't see this being competitive at all. They've tried to sell the whole crying story and the fact that apparently Patrick Cummings, he can't get opponents. Everyone's scared of him, even though his last opponent was a 5-15 guy called Willie Smalls. I think this is gonna be an absolute annihilation, similar to the Eric Silva Takanori Sato fight, and it's gonna be over early.
Yeah.
Willie Smalls. They took my white rapper name.
Okay, my breakdown. This is another one of those fights where somebody's always going to go, and I don't think anybody believes that loss is going to fall into the loss column of Cormier. Cormier is a ridiculous minus 1,100 favorite over Cummings, who is a huge dog at plus 926. MMA fans also agree that Cummings has next to no chance to getting the win over Cormier. And looking at the physical stats, Patrick Cummings is 3 inches taller and has a 3.5-inch reach advantage. Cormier is no spring chicken at age 34, but nobody seems to know how old Cummings is, but I'm going to guess that he's probably a little bit younger. And one might think, looking at those physical stats, that Cummings might at least have a shot in this one, but with a 4-0 professional MMA record and light heavyweight ranking of 139, it's understandable as to why he's such an underdog in this matchup. Both of these guys have something to prove, and I think that somebody's going to get knocked out early in this one, and I think that somebody is going to be Patrick Cummings, so I'm going with Daniel Cormier by KO in 1.
You know what? I don't have much of a problem with this fight. Obviously, Cormier's got a debut at light heavyweight at some point, but the fact that it's still the co-main is, I think that's the thing I can't get my head around. Especially when
co-main event on a pay-per-view.
And that's not a co-main event that's going to say, hey man, that's going to make me buy that pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, Jessica I versus Alexis Davis, I think that's a much more intriguing fight, and that's on the prelim card.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you guys, because I want to discuss that later on in the show, even though that wasn't on the main card. But yeah, I agree with you, Jacob.
I think.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I think Cormier going down to light heavyweight, and a lot of people know about the bad blood between him and John Jones, so I do see why they have this on the main card. They want to see his light heavyweight debut.
Yeah, that's not the thing I have a problem with. I just think the fact that there's TJ Waldberger versus Mike Pyle, two guys who are coming off losses, let's face it, are nowhere near the top 10. They're on the main card, whereas you've got basically a number one contender fight for Ronda Rousey's belt on the prelim card.
Yeah,
and
those two girls are ranked number 5 and number 8.
Yeah,
Alexis Davis is number 5, and Jessica I is ranked number 8.
Yeah, but
you've got a guy in Patrick Cummings who's 4-0. He's fought no one big.
Exactly.
And obviously, Daniel Cormier is a big name. Don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter, but I don't think that's co-main status. Cause,
who wants to see somebody like that fight a can?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was already billed as the co-main when Rashad was supposed to be fighting, so I don't see them taking it off the co-main just because of that. And,
like
and you got to think
earlier,
with
man,
Jessica
once Evans dropped out, they took the fight off the card.
Yeah.
And for a day or two, there was going to be no fight.
Well, does anyone remember the Congo versus Barry card? I know this is sort of separate circumstances, but Nate Marquardt, he was pulled off the card because of a drug problem or something. Charlie Brenneman came in, and Brenneman versus Story was demoted to the co-main event, whereas Congo versus Barry was promoted to the main. So it is possible to do that.
Yeah, it is possible, but I mean, like with the undercard, you want to have at least one good fight on the prelims to get people kind of wanting to buy the pay-per-view. So I can understand.
I think the Assunção fight, the Rafael Assunção, I think that's a pretty decent fight. He's pretty one win off a title shot.
He might be a little further away than that. It's hard to say.
I don't know. Well, I think if you...
Well, at 135, you're never really far away from a title shot.
Yeah, that's true.
135 is one of the weakest divisions in MMA.
I mean, I even think that Macdonald Maia should probably have been in the co-main over that fight because... You might
be saying differently once we get to that fight.
Well, I'm just saying, looking at how the guys are ranked, you've got a number 4 and a number 6 fighter, I mean, wouldn't that take precedence over a guy who's not ranked in the light heavyweight division and a guy ranked 139?
Yeah, but this is one of these things that happens when you have a late injury like this, and a late replacement. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, they might have asked them if they wanted to go to co-main, and they might have said no, keep us where we're at. You never know how it went down.
Yeah. See, I don't mean to be cynical, but I mean, obviously it is short notice, but there have been bouts that are a lot shorter notice. I think this was 10 days notice. I think
10 days,
They probably could have got a better fighter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
Nah, no one wants to fight. No real professional fighter is going to want to fight someone on 10 days' notice. Not Daniel Cormier.
No.
I don't know why everybody's so impressed with him. I've already said this before on a couple of other shows. He's not doing it for me in the UFC.
He's had a couple tough fights, but he's had some very impressive performances in the past. He destroyed Josh Barnett. He destroyed Bigfoot. And winning's better than losing, even if it doesn't look good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I'm going to throw us over to Wes for fight number 3.
Yeah, so up next we have Rory Macdonald taking on Demian Maia in a fight we just said could probably have been the co-main event given how things have played out. Obviously, the Canadian Macdonald sort of relegated away from his the next coming of GSP status with recent performances, and Demian Maia is just a mainstay grappling extraordinaire at 170. Rich, how do you see this playing out?
Well, Rory McDonald is a comfortable favorite by odds makers, and fans seem to favor him quite a bit more than the odds makers do. Looking at their physical stats, both men are basically the same height, but Rory McDonald has a respectable 4.5-inch reach advantage. McDonald has a big advantage in the age factor as well. He's 12 years younger than Maia, and that should play into an advantage when factoring things into the stats. I've been a long-time fan of Demian Maia, and I call him the submission machine, is a nickname I made up for him. But, I'd love to say he wins this one by submission, but I think this one goes to a decision, and I'm going to go with the odds makers and fans, and I'm picking Rory McDonald to win by decision.
Yeah, I agree. I just think after McDonald just lost his last fight, and I think he's going to want to play it safe and make he does come from that GSP camp, and I think he's going to play it safe, be aware of the submissions, and take this one to a decision for the win. McDonald by decision.
David?
Yeah, that's how I see it unfolding as well. It's kind of hard to envision it any other way, actually. Maia, I always had hoped he would develop his stand-up a lot more so he could go to his bread and butter, the submission game. But I just haven't really seen him do that. I mean, I've seen some promising things from him, but not to the level where he can take out Rory McDonald, I believe. So, decision McDonald.
Jacob?
I hate to not make it exciting at all, but yeah, I'm going the same. McDonald decision. I think he's going to utilise his jab, utilise his range advantage, and keep the fight standing, keep it on the outside, and just light up Maia en route to a boring decision, I'm afraid. Yeah,
I'm going to go with Rory McDonald by decision as well, although I don't think there's going to be much in the way of lighting up in this fight. I think it's going to be pretty forgettable. McDonald, on the feet, he's definitely technically sound. He's got some skills, but we've seen him, in recent fights just not really look very interested on the feet, right? And I mean, on top, I think he's gonna stay away from the top game and the ground in general because one, we've seen him be a little lackluster in his attack from the top, especially in the Bobby Lawler fight, which cost him big. And two, I mean, why would you want to mess with Demian Maia on the ground? I mean, Maia does not have dynamic takedowns. A lot of his takedowns are from throws and like sneaky throws and pulling guard. He's not going to double leg you to death. So why would you even want to mess with the ground game with him? He's going to stay on his feet, probably work his jab, work some straight punches and footwork. So a pretty lackluster, forgettable decision. Anybody else want to share their thoughts?
Wow, we all chose the same exact outcome.
Yeah.
That's rare.
It's pretty safe. Especially
this one's a pretty easy call, yeah.
Yeah, after two events with 10 decisions and pretty safe call.
The thing is with McDonald, I can't see him, even though he's got so much to prove, I can't see him coming out and doing anything different because these TriStar guys, they're very methodical and they all try to stick to game plans. I mean, you see with George St. Pierre, he gets a lot of criticism for going to decision so often, and everyone was, saying that he needs to prove himself and get a finish. He came out against Nick Diaz when he needed a finish really badly and just did exactly the same thing, got a decision. So, I struggle to see it going any other way than the full distance.
Yeah, I think he's he is a safe fighter, but he does have that finishing power and the ability. But coming off of a loss, he wants to stay a contender in the welterweight division, and I see him just playing a little bit more safe and being a little bit more technical this fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the kind of fight where you want to take chances anyway, right? This is not the kind of fight where Roy McDonald's going to want to come out and take some risks to get the finish because Demian Maia is the kind of guy who can make you pay, right? I mean, is he going to knock you out on the feet? Is he going to head kick you? Probably not. But I mean, if you want to get fancy and try to knock him out on top, if you want to, say he knocks him down, he tries to get on top of him and knock him out with punches, and you never know what's going to happen. So
how I see it, the reason that McDonald didn't get the get the title shot after the win over Jake Ellenberger is because of how unimpressive he looks. He just didn't look. A win over Jake Ellenberger's nothing to laugh at. That's a big, a good guy who's got a win over, but the fashion that he won in, I think that is the problem. And if he wants to get a title shot against guys like Robbie Lawler or Johnny Hendricks, who obviously fans love to see fighters like that, Rory McDonald, just the style that he fights with, it's not a marketable style for me.
I agree, and I don't think he's going to get a title shot with a win over Demian Maia anyway. So yeah, I really don't expect anything too spectacular in this fight.
Any idea where he was ranked before he lost that last fight?
Pretty high.
Third, maybe.
Yeah, I would say top 5.
No, so he only dropped 1 place with that loss.
Yeah, he did, but
yeah, I mean, Robbie Lawler was a highly ranked welterweight as well.
Yeah, in terms of his actual sort of status among fans, I think that dropped a big dropped massively after that fight.
Yeah, rankings don't always correspond to what fans feel like.
Yeah,
how fans feel about fighters, and that can make a big difference when it comes to matchmaking.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one, number 4.
Oh yeah, so up next we've got T.J. Waldberger versus Mike Pyle, another welterweight battle. Probably one with a little bit less on the line in terms of title picture. Rich, you want to give us your thoughts on that? See how you see it playing out?
Looking at my numbers and things as I do, odds makers basically have this one as a flip of a coin, but MMA fans overwhelmingly favor Pyle by a very large margin. Looking at their physical stats, Pyle is 2 inches taller, but Waldberger has a 1-inch reach advantage. Waldberger is also 13 years younger, and that stat almost always favors the much younger fighter. With those differences, I want to pick Waldberger to win it, but with Pyle ranked at number 19 and Waldberger ranked at number 46, I think I'm going to go with Pyle in this one because he's fought and beaten the better talent in the UFC. I think this one goes to a decision as well, and I think the decision favors Pyle, so I'm going with Pyle by decision.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Pyle by a round 2 TKO. He is the older fighter, but being the older fighter does come with experience. When you've had as many fights as Pyle has had, he looks pretty good for his age, But I just don't see T.J. Waldberger being able to do anything. There is always that chance, but I think Pyle's got his number to Saturday night.
David?
Yeah, I also went with Pyle by decision, actually. I think Pyle is just going to be a little too experienced for him. Waldberger still might be a bit green when it comes to high-level experience, so I think it will go the distance, but it's going to favor Pyle heavily.
Jacob?
I've got Mike Pyle, first round KO. T.J. Waldberger, he seems like he's got a bit of a glass jaw to me, and his main strength is obviously on the ground, but with a guy as experienced as Mike Pyle, I can't see him getting caught in anything, no matter how good Waldberger's jiu-jitsu is. So, I can't see Waldberger getting the victory in this one. I think Pyle's experience, and he'll get the KO in the first, I imagine.
All right, yeah, I'm going to round this out, and I'm going to take Mike Quicksand Pyle as well. I'm going to take him by submission, though. TKO, probably on the ground. I think he's going to get it from the top position. He's a very savvy veteran. I don't know if you guys remember the John Hathaway fight where he literally had John Hathaway on the ground in a reverse triangle and was just punching him in the head for the entire round, like from behind his back. It was pretty hilarious stuff. But yeah, I think Mike Pyle is a very, very savvy veteran in the sport. And T.J. Waldberger, he's good on the ground. He's also very wild. And yeah, he doesn't have a great chin either. Just does not spell success against a really talented fighter like Mike Pyle. Yeah, Mike Pyle might not be championship material, but I think he's good enough to take it to Waldberger and take it to him well for the round 2 TKO.
Okay, let's go over to David for the last one.
All right. Last fight is Robert Whitaker and Stephen Thompson. Yeah, I think in that one, Thompson he's going to really take it to him and get the TKO in round 1. Wes, how do you see that one going?
I'm taking Whitaker by decision.
Yeah, I'm going with Thompson by decision. They're both pretty exciting fighters to watch. I like Stephen Thompson. He looks really good, but so does Whitaker. So I think they're going to be doing a lot of testing out in the first round and actually probably take it to a decision.
And Jacob, how about you?
I've got a Whitaker decision. I think this fight will play out on basically wherever Whitaker sort of dictates. I think I think obviously Thompson will have the stand-up advantage, but Whitaker will nullify that and get the decision.
Oh,
right.
actually,
me?
Oh, yeah, you're rich. I would say I noticed I had written down actually a 2. It just looked like a 1 from where I was looking. KO in round 2 for Thompson.
You're going with?
Yeah, KO.
I'm all screwed up here. You're going with Thompson by what?
By KO in round 2. TKO.
Okay, that's me.
Do you hang out with Sugar today, Rich?
Okay. This is another matchup that oddsmakers have as a flip of the coin, but fans overwhelmingly favor Thompson. Looking at their physical stats, Thompson is 1 inch taller, and he has a 3 or 4 inch reach advantage depending upon what site you go to look at. He is also 8 years older, and that stat usually favors the much younger fighter. I want to pick Whitaker to win this, but Thompson's only loss in his record is in the UFC, and that is to Matt Brown by decision. I think this one goes to a decision, and it looks to me like the decision favors Thompson, so I am going with Thompson by decision.
All right. Does anybody got anything to add for that?
I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah,
really.
Me too. Don't sleep on Whitaker's boxing ability. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Wonderboy is known for his kickboxing skills, and obviously he's got a reach advantage, but technique trumps pure reach advantage, right? I mean, how else was Mike Tyson able to destroy taller, bigger guys for years? Robert Whitaker, again, he's a work in progress, but I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a work in progress that will never really amount to championship material.
It's possible, but he looks pretty good. The one thing that gets me is Whitaker's fight with Court McGee. I mean, that was a pretty grueling fight to watch. I mean, it was more of a point fight. I'm thinking, if Thompson can just stay active against him, I think he's got a very good chance of getting the decision. And I think Whitaker will eventually become more of a higher tier fighter. But right now, I just don't think he's got what it takes to take out Whitaker or Thompson.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the main card. Let's do the final thoughts segment really quick here. We mentioned this one earlier, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. I don't know if you guys want to give your predictions. If you do, we're not going to count them in the prediction results. But Alexis Davis versus Jessica I, the number 5 ranked bantamweight fighter against the number 8 bantamweight fighter in the women's division. So, Wes, do you want to share any comments on that one?
That's a tough fight. They're obviously both very talented. I haven't seen Jessica I fight as much as I'd like to have. I've obviously seen her most recent performances, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to take Alexis Davis by decision.
Okay, Damon?
Yeah, I don't know. There's, it's WMMA. It's a new division pretty much. I haven't really seen a lot of them fight. I've seen Alexis Davis fight before, and she does look pretty good. But yeah, I really don't want to call a winner on this one. I actually just want to see how it plays out. I love watching. I love watching.
Smart man.
That's one of the things I love about WMMA is they bring it. They've got heart, and they always bring it to the cage. And like I know my brother and a lot of other people that are fans of WMMA and have been fans of it are fans of it for this reason, is because they come to fight, and that's what makes it exciting.
Okay, David.
Yeah, I was kind of interested in this one as well. See if Jessica can kind of, I guess, harness that stress she's probably been under and see if she can bring it on fight night, or if it's too much for her on the other hand. So I thought about this one, and I picked Davis for the decision, but you never know that lady that's scorned, and she's got that kind of point to prove. And I mean, if it's all just kind of a bad scenario of what happened to her, I mean, what better way to stand out than a big victory on Saturday? But yeah, I don't know. I think she's going to be the other way with it.
Okay, Jacob.
Sorry to correct you, Rich, but just to say, Alexis Davis is actually ranked number 3, and Jessica I is number 5. So
really?
that sort of that even
That's UFC standings, though.
yeah, that emphasizes even more that this fight needs to be a main card fight, plain and simple. I think that Jessica I is the sort of girl that can bounce back from adversity. I don't know if you guys know, but she actually broke her back when she was about 15 years old. She's obviously come back as one of the best women in the world. She's had all of these obviously issues with the media, the whole drug problem, and drug test anyway, not drug problem.
Yeah, if you got a drug problem with them levels,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see her drinking.
Okay, sorry.
Just sparking on the way to the octagon.
Yeah, in between rounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, go back.
As soon as the piss test is gone, she's lighting up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Please, Jessica, I never watched this show.
what are you saying here, Jacob? What are you saying happened?
She bounces back from adversity very well, and I think she'll use the whole media attention to give her some motivation going into the fight. I think she'll outpoint Alexis Davis with her speed, and get a decision. Not sure how she'll do it, if it's a split decision or whatever, but yeah, I think she'll outpoint her.
Wow, so you're going with Jessica I.
I am. I think
Wow.
I think speed kills, and the fact that she's come up from 125, she looked a lot faster against Sara Kaufman, and I could see it going a similar way.
Yeah, it might go that way. I mean, because Alexis Davis is a slight favorite by odds makers, but fans seem to favor Alexis Davis quite a bit more. Looking at their physical stats, both women are virtually the same in height and reach. I has the slight edge with a 1-inch height advantage, and Jessica is a couple of years younger, but that probably isn't going to factor into things. Jessica had a nice 7-fight win streak going for her until that last fight, which was overturned to a no contest for the failed post-fight drug test. Davis has a 4-fight win streak going for her, with her most recent loss, oddly enough, to Sara Kaufman. And the reason that I use that term, oddly enough, is because many MMA fans felt that Jessica I lost the fight to Sara Kaufman, even though before the fight was overturned, Jessica got the nod from the judges. I also think this one goes to a decision, and that would typically favor Jessica in most matchups, but I think Davis has a much better ground game, so I'm going to go with Alexis Davis by decision. Okay, guys, any more comments on that one?
No.
That's it. Excited to see how it plays out.
Okay, guys, we've reached the end of the show. Thanks for joining me again, guys. We'll do another post-event show on February 23rd, the day after the UFC 170, Ronda Rousey versus Sara McMann, Olympian versus Olympian event. You all are welcome to join me on that one as usual. Time to say goodbye, folks, so go ahead and say goodbye.
Take it easy, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Enjoy the fights.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.